The world of expedition cruising is usually associated with breathtaking landscapes and luxury. But for the coral adventurer, recent months have been marred by tragedy and misfortune. In a disturbing sequence of events, the Australian cruise ship has run aground on a remote reef in Papua New Guinea. This incident marks a rocky start to the vessel's very first voyage since a heartbreaking tragedy in October, involving the death of an elderly passenger who was left behind on a desert island. Is this a case of bad luck, or are there deeper operational issues at play? Here is the full story of the Coral Adventurer's troubled season. The Coral Adventurer, a specialized expedition vessel, has run aground off the eastern coast of Papua New Guinea, PNG. The incident occurred on a Saturday, just 30 kilometers, 18 miles, from the port city of Leh. This voyage was significant as it was the ship's first return to service following a major suspension of operations earlier in the year. According to a spokesperson for the vessel, the ship struck a reef while navigating the complex waters of the region. Fortunately, initial safety checks have brought some relief. There are no reports of injuries among the 80 passengers and 43 crew members on board. Furthermore, preliminary inspections of the hull have not revealed any breaches or oil leaks, though divers and technical teams are scheduled to conduct more rigorous underwater inspections on Sunday to ensure the vessel is seaworthy. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority confirmed to the BBC that no distress beacon was activated by the Coral Adventurer, suggesting the situation was stable immediately following the impact. However, AMSA is closely monitoring the situation and stands ready to assist Papua New Guinea authorities if the recovery operation becomes complex. This grounding is particularly sensitive because the Coral Adventurer is currently the subject of a high-profile investigation involving the death of a passenger just weeks prior. The ship is under scrutiny by both AMSA and the Queensland Police following the death of 80-year-old Suzanne Rhys on October 26th. Ms. Rhys had been a passenger on a previous voyage when the ship stopped at Lizard Island, a remote and beautiful location on the Great Barrier Reef. She had gone ashore for a walk with other guests, but separated from the group to rest. In a catastrophic lapse of protocol, the ship weighed anchor and departed the island without her. The crew reportedly only realized she was missing hours later. Although the ship returned to the island to search, it was too late. Her body was discovered the following day after an extensive search operation. That tragedy led to the immediate cancellation of the remainder of a planned 60-day circumnavigation of Australia voyage, with all passengers receiving full refunds. The current voyage to Papua New Guinea was intended to be the fresh start for the company after that dark chapter. Mark Fifield, the Chief Executive Officer of Coral Expeditions, stated that the company deeply regrets the events and has offered full support to the family of Ms. Rhys. He emphasized that the operator is cooperating fully with the Queensland Police investigation. However, questions regarding safety protocols are mounting, with AMSA noting that they do not typically release the results of their investigations to the public immediately. The exact cause of the operational failure that left a passenger behind remains a matter of police inquiry. Now, with the ship sitting on a reef in Papua New Guinea, the operator faces renewed pressure to demonstrate that their navigation and passenger safety procedures are up to standard. The voyage was designed to be a spectacular 12-day immersion into the frontier lands of Papua New Guinea, scheduled to conclude just before the new year. The journey began with high hopes as the ship departed from Cairns, Australia, crossing the open waters of the Coral Sea. In the first few days, guests were treated to the rich World War II history of Alotau and the steaming geothermal hot springs of the D'Entrecasteaux archipelago. The ship even successfully cruised through the majestic volcanic gorges of the Tufi fjords. However, the adventure came to a sudden halt on day 7. As the vessel navigated towards the industrial hub of Leh, it struck the reef. Sadly, this incident means the passengers will miss the most anticipated highlights of the trip. They were scheduled to visit Madang, known as the prettiest town in the South Pacific, and take a rare expedition up the Sepik River to visit tribal art villages. Instead of a triumphant return to Cairns, the ship remains stuck, and the journey is over.